Welcome to Executive Leaders Radio, your spot in the corner office, the radio show where executives share their secrets to success. Executive Leaders Radio.
You're listening to Executive Leaders Radio, broadcast from Radio America in Arlington, Virginia. This is your host, Herb Cohen, with my co-hosts, Andrew Howard, Howard Insurance, Mark Haas, Association for Enterprise Growth, and Katie Brewer. And Katie, could you give us, please, a rundown on who else we have on the air with us today, please?
We have Greg McCarthy, CEO of AOC Key Solutions, Jennifer Collins, CEO and President of JDC Events, Todd Henkle, owner of Lost Creek Winery, and Jennifer Eubanks, CEO of CPA Department.
Let's get to know our first guest, Greg McCarthy, CEO of AOC Key Solutions. Greg, what is AOC Key Solutions?
We're a consulting firm of 33 people that help government contractors win federal contracts.
Mm-hmm. Whose idea was this?
My brother started this business in the 1980s, 1983 to be exact.
Uh-huh. And so your brother started the business. And where are you from, and how many brothers and sisters do you have?
From Baltimore, Maryland. I have one older brother, one older sister.
So you're the youngest of three. What happened in your childhood to get you to be able to go in the business with your brother?
Well, my brother being 12 years older, we didn't really grow up together. He went off to college when I was in first grade, so this has been very nice. As adults, we've gotten to know each other and are very close right now.
Mm-hmm. And what do you do different or better than your brother in terms of business?
I think what I do mostly is run the business as a business, focus on X's and O's, and I have a good eye for talent, for bringing people into the organization.
Is that your idea that you've got a good eye for talent, or is that your brother's idea that you've got a good eye for talent?
He probably spotted it in me some time ago.
So your brother really appreciates that you're able to bring the organization to the next level, it sounds like.
I think so. He got it to a point where we're one of the leaders, and now I'm trying to really grow it in a big way and become the market leader in the space that we operate in.
Oh, now I understand. All right. I think, Andrew, you got the next question?
Speaking of X's and O's, Greg, what sports did you play growing up?
So I played sports year-round, soccer, basketball, and lacrosse.
And what positions did you play in each of those?
Mostly defensive positions, midfield in soccer and lacrosse, and later I moved back to the fullback position in soccer, and then I was a point guard in basketball.
A little bit of offense in there too, Greg. What's the personality trait of those positions?
I think collaboration, distribution, and wanting to control the play.
So you wanted to sort of have it fall to your shoulders a lot of the times?
Absolutely. I loved it. Very competitive. I love to win.
And how does that translate today at AOC?
I want our firm to be the best firm that it can possibly be, bring in the best people, and help our clients win as much business as they can possibly win. You
wanted to help your teammates win, and now, today, you want to help your clients win.
Absolutely. We love winning. It's a real culture of winning, and we're very proud when our clients are the ones selected to support a contract.
Why did your friends like you?
I was always like a central point. So we gathered at my house. We decided what the activities were going to be from my house, whether it was in the neighborhood or on a football field playing pickup football.
Is your CEO role now as an outside person or an inside person?
I'd say very much an inside person. I'm very accessible, roll my sleeves up, and I love the people in our company. I love working with them day in and day out.
How young were you when you started making money?
I was young. I did odd jobs that kids don't do these days, shoveling snow, cutting grass, washing cars. And then I had a snowball stand when I was 14 that I actually took around the neighborhoods, and people would line up waiting to buy snowballs after dinner each night in the summer.
Snowball stand. Was that your idea?
It was a neighbor's, and he outgrew it and went on to the next thing, driving cars and things like that. And so I took it from him and built it up a little bit.
So similar pattern to what you've been doing with AOC Key Solutions.
I guess you could say there's a link there.
The link is somebody else started something and you took it to the next level.
Right. So perhaps I'm not an originator, but I like to improve upon things that I do get.
Well, we're seeing that from an early age. Uh-huh.
How do you approach solving problems?
Team, collaborative, put great people around me. I like to diagram things, whiteboard, etc., and walk through them step by step.
So you're more of a visual problem solver?
Visual problem solver, visual learner for sure.
Certainly makes it easier to communicate to others. What kind of toys did you play with as a kid?
Anything physical, skateboard, bikes, any kind of sporting, balls, hockey sticks, lacrosse sticks, that sort of thing.
How does that relate to how you run your business now?
Very much involved, very physical, and I would say that I'm a grinder, and that's probably started at a young age.
What do you mean you're a grinder? What are you talking about?
Nothing was really given to me. I had to work. I was smaller in stature as a kid. I was a year younger than all my classmates, and I always had to grind, work harder than everybody else around me to get the things that I wanted to do.
So yeah, but now it says here, if I'm reading this correctly, it says you're the CEO. You don't have to do that anymore, do you?
I do, because I flip it around, and I work for the people that work for me in my company.
Wait a minute, you're the boss. You're the one who can tell people you're fired, do this, get out of here, right?
I do, and I'll do that when I need to, but day-to-day is supporting my folks to be the best they can be. Supporting
your folks to be it sounds to me like you work for them.
That's the way I look at it, yes, sir.
What do you mean?
I mean, well, I'm on the top of the org chart, but it's my job to make sure everybody who comes into our organization is as successful as they possibly can be.
How young did you learn that?
Probably a young age, dribbling the ball down the court and getting it to the big guys who can put it in the hoop.
Well, you're telling me as a kid you're relating your sports career, dribbling the ball down the court and then getting it to the guys that can put it in the hoop. You're relating that to the way you build a business?
Absolutely. You got to enable the folks that you have around you, and I put very capable, smart people around me, and I got to get them the ball.
Oh, Mark?
What are you most proud of about your employees?
I think the fact that they love doing what they do. It's a very difficult job. It's intense. There's time constraints. There's government requirements that have to be passed. And so we let the folks know that when they work hard, they can also take some time off and enjoy life.
Mm-hmm. What did your father do for a living?
He was a salesperson all his life.
And your mom?
Mom was a stay-at-home mom.
What was the personality trait of your father that you bring into your business?
So my father was very much about pro-business, making it easy for your clients to do business with them. Don't ask for cream and sugar in your coffee. Drink it black. Shake their hands nice and hard and look people in the eye and always follow up. And is that something you bring to your world? Absolutely. I would hope that people in my company would say that I'm just like that. And how about your mom? Mom was very personable, approachable. She was the life of the party. She was also the athlete in the family, and I got a lot of my personality traits from her as well. And what do you bring from the personality and relatable aspect of her into your work? I think just being approachable, the door's always open, and when you're in a professional environment, you need to listen to folks that are around you and help them be the absolute best they can be. Mark?
With a little distance from when you started or took over the role of CEO, what do you appreciate about your role now that you didn't necessarily appreciate or understand when you started? Yeah, I think in an organization I've learned that you can't have all A players. You got to have as many A players as possible, but there are B players and people that are aspiring to be A players that you've got to help develop.
Wait a minute. What do you mean help develop? What are you talking about? I thought that somebody's good at taking the ball down the court or they're not.
Yes, but you can help them immensely if you show them how to do that, if you listen to them, if you be a good role model for them, they can learn from you.
Oh, a good role model for them. You see yourself needing to be a good role model.
I do. Not perfect, but I try to be. Absolutely.
Uh-huh. You try to be a good role model, and you think that that's important as the CEO.
Absolutely. They got to look to somebody at the top, and the way we run our business, the cadence, those kinds of things, and you got to set the example from the top.
Uh-huh. And what do you mean by cadence? What's that word mean? What do you mean?
I think it's some people would call that rhythm or battle rhythm. It's the the way the company marches and how we get from start to finish.
Mark?
What kind of philanthropic activities do you engage in now or would like to engage in?
I sit on a couple of boards for charity, and I try to guide them and give input and help steer them in the right direction.
Why do you bother doing that? You're supposed to be running a business.
You got to give back. So I've learned that from my brother, and I try to give back to on 2 particular boards that I sit on, and I'm the one who benefits from being part of those boards.
Wow. How did you select those particular organizations, and what are they?
There are actually 2 of my alma mater boards. One's an athletic board, and the other is the business school board.
Oh, cool. What's the website address for AOC Key Solutions? AOCKeysolutions.com.
Let
me have that one more time.
AOCKeysolutions.com.
We've been speaking with Greg McCarthy, CEO of AOC Key Solutions, here on Executive Leaders Radio. Don't forget to visit our website. It's executiveleadersradio.com to learn more about our executive leaders. Executiveleadersradio.com to learn more about our executive leaders. Back in a moment, right after this break. Want help building your business with help from this show's CEOs? Our CEOs can help you uncover more opportunities, grow your sales, connect you, help you raise money, all the big issues, because our CEOs have been there and done that. They've succeeded in creating millions of jobs and earning millions of dollars, and some are available to advise you. Now, email mentors@executiveleadersradio.com. That's mentors@executiveleadersradio.com. The same CEOs you've heard on the show for 10 years may be willing to help you build your business, uncover new opportunities, grow your sales, connect you, help you raise money, all the big issues, because our CEOs have been there and done that, succeeding in creating millions of jobs and earning millions of dollars. And some are available to advise you. Now, email mentors@executiveleadersradio.com. That's mentors@executiveleadersradio.com. We're back. You're listening to Executive Leaders Radio. This is your host, Herb Cohen. We'd like to introduce Jennifer Collins, CEO and President of JDC Events. Jennifer, what is JDC Events? What are you guys doing?
We are a company that help companies to build brands through designing events.
Like, give me an example of how you help companies build their brands through events. What kind of events you talking about?
Scholarship competitions, sales meetings, trainings, professional development conferences, customer events.
Very clever ways. What were you from originally?
From Boston, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm. And how many brothers and sisters?
I am the youngest of 3.
All right.
Sisters.
Youngest of 3. And how young were you when you were organizing the other kids?
Probably around the age of 6.
What were you doing?
I was building car washes in the summer.
You were doing what?
I was pretty much building car washes in the summertime.
Where'd the idea come from?
Well, I decided that I wanted to make a little money. We had to earn our chores and earn our keep as I was growing up, and so that was a way for me to be able to do that.
So it was your idea. Who was washing their car? Where'd you get this idea from?
Well, my dad would be washing cars,
and
I would see him.
Did he tell you to go do this?
He did not.
So
I just looked at it and thought that it would be a great way to potentially be able to help with my chores.
So what was the next step in your car wash idea?
I decided to get more of our neighbors involved by designing a rate card.
You did what?
I had a price list.
At 6 years old?
I did.
Tell me a little bit about what was the thinking behind that.
Well, it was a way to earn more money. I designed the rate card where it had different pieces on it, windows, inside out, vacuuming, and
oh my
tires.
God, you segregated the market. You went ahead and you came up with a Chinese menu so they could... That's a very clever idea at the age of 6, not only to come up with a rate card, but also to figure out how to go ahead and upsell and cross-sell. And did anybody ever give you a hand with washing these cars?
My sisters. At times.
These were older sisters you managed to coerce to give you a hand washing the cars?
Yes, my 2 older sisters, absolutely.
So you were organizing other kids when you were 6 years old and doing a car wash with you, where you organized the idea and the rate card. And what's that have to do with this organization known as JDC Events?
Well, it was very much translated in the sense of it was bringing people together for a common cause and a purpose, and having everybody on board so they would understand what their role was and the part that they played in it, and for all of us to be on one accord to get the job done.
I just wanted to make sure I understood what your first event was, Andrew.
Jennifer, who was the biggest singular influence in your life outside of family growing up?
I actually would say it's both my grandmother and my grandfather. So my grandparents.
Why both?
Because they both owned businesses. It was a cleaners and a landscaping company.
And where were they geographically?
They were located in Hartford, Connecticut.
Did you spend a lot of time with them?
I did. Every weekend we had gone to Connecticut to visit.
You had a line in the green room that I wrote down that I thought was incredible. You said, building a company as a family to provide for your family. Can you explain that?
Well, it was something that I watched my grandparents do. So it was all that I knew in the sense of using or having entrepreneurial skills that were able to really translate into taking care of your family.
Now, how does that translate to the culture you've built at JDC?
Very much translated those skills into building a culture that takes care of my people. I believe the receiving is in the giving. And so I give in the sense of affording people flexibility, a culture that is safe, a culture that is enjoyable, because we have to spend the majority of our time there. And I wanted to make sure that people, when they are there, we're not just taking care of the employee, but we have their families to account for, too.
I really believe you, too. Mark?
So your grandparents were in business. What did your parents do?
My parents, my father was in sales. He was a buyer for one of the largest grocery store chains in New England. And my mom worked as an executive within the healthcare Blue Cross Blue Shield.
What did you learn from them?
Yeah, what do you bring from them to work every day, from mom and dad?
My dad very much was the business guy, so he was the salesperson, and so he was very extrovert and really congenial with everybody. My mom was more so the introvert, but very much keeping things together, focused, keeping things in line, getting things done. So they very much had I like to say that I have a very much of a blended personality in the sense that I bring a lot of what they both offered into my own life.
Jennifer, what happened in 7th grade?
In 7th grade, when I was in school, I ran for officer positions from presidency down to the secretary and treasurer.
All at once?
Each particular position, yes, I ran for.
And how did that work out?
It didn't work out very well. I lost every position.
Lost every position?
I did.
What happened in 8th grade?
In 8th grade, I came back and I decided to run for presidency going into high school, and I won. And I subsequently won all 4 years thereafter.
Wow. How many kids were in your school?
About 300.
Yeah, why'd you win?
I won. There was 300 kids, and I knew a lot of them.
No,
they
earlier
were all
in the
my
green
friends.
room, you told me because you knew most of the kids, and I asked you how many kids were there, and you said 300. Yeah. And you didn't think it was strange to get to know 300 kids, but that's pretty exceptional, considering how badly you really wanted to win.
Yeah, I guess I didn't look at it that way. I mean, they weren't, of course, all my friends per se, but we knew each other, so they were aware of me. And I had to campaign. And so because I was campaigning, that allowed more people to know about me at that time,
What's that have
too.
to do with getting clients nowadays?
Well, it has very much to do with everything I do here. I mean, it's just, it's building a strategy, it's campaigning, it's getting in front of people, it's bringing your services to, and couching your services so that people would want to buy. So that very much translates into what I do now.
So do you have just a small, tight group of friends?
I do. I do.
Growing up, you mentioned before
yes.
you had lots of different connections to different groups.
Yes. I had a core group, my crew.
Okay. But you said you ran in different circles in the government and in music and so forth. You said you played piano growing up?
I do play piano, yes, okay. And I did. I was a classical pianist.
So this is something that you enjoyed rather than just had to take piano lessons?
I did enjoy. I came to enjoy it. It was something that my parents listened to me for a while in saying that I wanted to play it, and they wanted to know if it was something that was going to last. And so they listened to me, continued to ask them if I could take piano lessons, and then finally I did, and I continued in it.
What did you learn from piano?
Well, the piano taught me a lot of different things because of the fact that I was performing not only in my own personal recitals, but I was performing as the pianist for our school groups as well. So that taught me poise, it taught me performance, it taught me perseverance, it taught me calm under pressure and presentation, all of these things of which I use in my own business.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Katie?
I understand you took your business full-time right before 9/11.
I did.
Tell me a little about that.
Well, I had left my job at a PR firm, and my mother was very concerned about what I was doing, and my dad said, go for it. And so he was very much behind me. But it was 2 weeks before September 11th when the world stopped, and at that time we had lost the only client that gave me the courage to leave my company or that I was working for. And it was hard to rebuild from there. It took several years, but we were able to do it, and we continue on to this day.
And you had your resilience that you experienced in other aspects of your life.
Yeah, from seventh grade, the way you came back from 7th grade to 8th grade in terms of the election, same thing you did was sticking with the business from 9/11. Jennifer, if I was doing a good interview, what would I be doing better or different in order to get to know you?
You can tell them. You can take it.
Well, I would say because of the fact of we prepare people to speak. For instance, when we have speakers that come to our events, one of the things that we prepare for them are speakers' kits. And it's something that tells you about what you're getting ready to experience, all the details, parking, how to get there, all of those particular aspects. So I would say for your future speakers, you might consider doing something as such that just gives them all of the details so that they can be fully informed on what they're going to do. I am about preparation.
It's like
absolutely.
That rate card when you were 6 years old, you're suggesting that when we bring guests in, maybe I can be better prepared in terms of helping them understand exactly what's needed.
Absolutely.
So you're telling me when you run your events, you don't like accidents, you don't like surprises, you like things really well organized, don't you?
Yes, I do like things well organized, but it's not always the case. There's always something that is thrown in as a curveball, and that's when we improvise and we just manage it. But that calm under pressure that I have developed over the years is what really helps to carry that
piano.
through.
Isn't that from playing piano?
Yes, absolutely.
What's the website address for this organization known as JDC Events?
It's jdc-events.com.
Let me have that another time.
jdc-events.com.
We've been speaking with Jennifer Collins, CEO and President of JDC Events here on Executive Leaders Radio. Don't forget to visit our website. It's executiveleadersradio.com to learn more about our executive leaders, and we'll be back in a moment right after this break. Back. You're listening to Executive Leaders Radio. This is your host, Herb Cohen. We'd like to introduce Todd Henkle, owner of Lost Creek Winery. Todd, what is Lost Creek Winery? What are you guys doing?
We're a boutique winery in Loudoun County. We produce Chardonnays, Burgundy-style reds, and offer a nice culinary aspect.
Mm-hmm. And where are you from originally?
I grew up in Boulder, Colorado.
How many brothers and sisters?
I'm the oldest of 3. I've got a younger brother and a younger sister.
Mm-hmm. Tell us, what kind of sports were you playing 8 to 14?
At that age, I was playing baseball.
Mm-hmm. What was your role on the team?
At that age, I played shortstop.
Why'd you enjoy playing shortstop?
From my perspective, I think shortstop was where all the action was. It got the most hits your way, and you were kind of on the ball more than anybody else.
You got the most hits, so you like being in the line of fire, huh?
Absolutely.
What's that have to do with what you're doing nowadays? It says here you're the owner of Lost Creek Winery.
Well, I mean, it's certainly you're certainly under the gun at all times when you're a winemaker, a vineyard manager, and an entrepreneur, and certainly you're under pressure when you're a 10-year-old shortstop.
Mm-hmm. Katie?
How young were you when you started earning money?
My first full-time job, I was 14 years old, working for Boulder Country Club in their pro shop.
What was your role?
I was responsible for more kind of golfer relations, helping folks bags onto their carts, bags off their carts, cleaning it for them, taking the bags out to their parking lot.
And what did you do differently than the other kids?
You know, we were just a team. My best friend in elementary school and junior high, his older brother was a supervisor, and between the 5 or 6 of us, we just worked together as a team to really kind of, our goal was to maximize the guest experience.
Is teamwork important to you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Every part of my life is teamwork is key.
How does that translate into Lost Creek Winery?
Well, at the winery, there's nothing but team. I mean, it's a pretty, you don't think about it, but it's a pretty complex organization. I mean, you've got vineyard management that's going on that's completely at the mercy of Mother Nature. Winemaking is very artistic, but there's a lot of nuances. Then, we all know that it takes 2 years to make a bottle of wine to get into customers' hands. We've also got the guest experience in the front of the house, a culinary aspect, and there's just a lot of moving parts.
Mm-hmm. You also talked about your grandfather had an entrepreneurial business too.
Yeah, my grandfather was in Lincoln, Nebraska. He was the owner of an audiovisual company that was supplied schools in the area.
And did you ever visit him?
Absolutely. Once a summer, I'd go out there for about a week, and I would work in his store for him.
What would you do?
Everything that was, I would stock inventory. I would do mailings, prep advertising to get out to the folks.
How'd you feel about that experience?
I loved it. He was.
What would you love about it?
My grandpa. It was a connection with my grandfather, my grandmother. I would usually get put on a plane by myself or a train by myself. So it was 1 week of me by myself with them. Kind of involved.
So you felt pretty responsible doing this, didn't you?
Yeah, he would take me in and would show me what he's doing, and he asked for some help.
And it sounds to me like you were pretty thorough in terms of what you did for him.
Yeah,
What's that have to do with what you're doing nowadays?
Well, winemaking and vineyard management is very precise. There's a lot of nuances to it. You've got a lot of things working against you. Mother Nature is the big one, and you really have no choice but to be thorough in what you do if you want to put out a good product.
Gotcha.
Where did you learn this stuff from? Tell me about what did Mom and Dad do for a living?
My dad was an engineer for IBM, a manufacturing engineer, and my mom was a nurse.
What do you take from Mom, each day to work?
So my mom was the emotional, I think, strength of the family, the compassion, the kindness, the thoughtfulness, and my father's a self-described pathological tidy, so he's organized to the hilt. And from that, I kind of get more of my left brain.
Well, so in the green room, you mentioned that you were CFO previously to Slingin' Wine. What CFO is emotional? So how do you?
CFO is really just analytical. So I was basically exercising the side of my personality that I got from my father, but I was leaving the other side, that emotional side, really unchecked. And so winemaking does that. Winemaking is very much artistry. It's very much left-brained, and yet you're running a business at the same time. So the nice thing about the wineries is you're able to basically satisfy both sides of your personality.
Mark? You had a nice relationship with your grandfather. Tell me about the rest of your family. You have a big family, small family?
Pretty large family. Most of them were in the area, in the Boulder, Denver area. So I've got aunts and uncles, 10 cousins in the area. We got together frequently. Football games, watching the Broncos, picnics, going skiing. There was just a lot of opportunities for us to get together as a family, and we took advantage of it.
Have you been able to replicate that kind of environment and culture at the winery?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the one thing that we're proudest of when we look at our team is that we are very much a family. We look out after each other. We're relying on each other. Everybody plays a role. We want to make sure that they have the tools to do their job successfully, because we know that translates into success for the business. And just treat people with kindness, respect, compassion, and they'll love working for you.
What's the hardest thing you learned as being a CEO, or in effect the leader of this whole team?
Well, I would say I learned long ago, or I read long ago, that the CEO is a very lonely position, and it's really hard to comprehend that until you're there. And there is having that weight of the responsibility of the organization, all your clients, all your customers on your shoulders is it's a burden, and it's hard to comprehend it until you're actually there.
Thinking back to growing up, the books you read and the movies you saw, what particular character or type of character most resonates with you?
Well, I always liked the underdog. I always liked the one who was struggling to persevere, who eventually by the end of the movie was successful. So at that age, I mean, no better answer to that question than Luke Skywalker in Star Wars. So he fit that bill.
Do you feel like Lost Creek Winery is you're still the underdog, or are you pretty much got it solved?
Oh no, we're scrapping. I mean, we're one of the smaller wineries in the county, one of the smaller wineries in the state. We're trying to do things better than everybody else from a winemaking standpoint and from a culinary offering standpoint. And we came into this, bootstrap this operation, and it's a struggle now.
You mentioned you grew up and you were skiing. What do you learn from skiing, or what do you bring from skiing into your business?
I don't really bring anything from skiing into my business. My skiing is an escape for me. Skiing is a passion for me. I do it to get away. I do it to clear my head. I do it to gain perspective. With that clear head, it allows you to come into the business. Absolutely, you can't get you can get into your business day in and day out and get just consumed with the minutia. And if you don't clear that head and you don't give yourself that fresh perspective to allow you to see your business and your clientele and your customers differently, then you'll never innovate.
Wait. You're telling me that you need to go skiing in order to innovate?
I do.
Why? What's that?
Like I said, skiing is a passion. Skiing is soulful, and you can't innovate without perspective, and you can't find perspective unless you go find your bliss. So for me, skiing's my bliss. Skiing's my passion. So
you find that your energy increases by taking a break, getting your perspective, skiing, coming back. You'll have new, fresh ideas because you're able to walk away from a little bit and you feel further energized.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to do that. No matter how entrenched you are in your business or how entrenched you are in your ideas or your philosophies, you should challenge them. And you're not going to challenge them if you're living the grind day after day.
Mark, what else do you think?
So this is a long way from Boulder, Colorado. What do you carry with you and bring with you from your hometown?
I've just always had that sense of family. We head back there as often as we can. And it's just, Boulder is a very rich area in terms of environment. And
whose idea was it to start this winery?
Well, my wife and I always joke. I had the passion for entrepreneurship. She had the passion for wine. This venture was a way of doing both at the same time. So,
Is she involved with you in the business?
100%. Yeah, we're both 100% in the work.
And how do you guys split up responsibilities?
She's pretty much the front of the house, so she takes care of all the sales and the marketing, the customer experience, the culinary standpoint, what we're offering menu-wise. I'm back of the house, so I do all the vineyard management, winemaking, and then I also get stuck with the bean counting. So
yeah, I figured you'd be doing something with finance, considering your background. What's the website address of this organization?
It's LostCreekWinery.com.
Let me have that one more time, please.
LostCreekWinery.com.
Excellent. We've been speaking with Todd Henkle, owner of Lost Creek Winery here on Executive Leaders Radio. Don't forget to visit our website, executiveleadersradio.com, learn more about our executive leaders, and we will be back in a moment right after this break. Want help building your business with help from this show's CEOs? Our CEOs can help you uncover more opportunities, grow your sales, connect you, help you raise money, all the big issues, because our CEOs have been there and done that. They've succeeded in creating millions of jobs and earning millions of dollars, and some are available to advise you. Now, email mentors@executiveleadersradio.com. That's mentors@executiveleadersradio.com. The same CEOs you've heard on the show for 10 years may be willing to help you build your business, uncover new opportunities, grow your sales, connect you, help you raise money, all the big issues, because our CEOs have been there and done that, succeeding in creating millions of jobs and earning millions of dollars. And some are available to advise you. Now, email mentors@executiveleadersradio.com. That's mentors@executiveleadersradio.com. We're back. You're listening to Executive Leaders Radio. This is your host, Herb Cohen. We'd like to introduce Jennifer Eubanks, CEO of CPA Department. Jennifer, what is the CPA Department? What are you guys doing?
We're a CPA firm that provides high-level accounting services to small and mid-sized businesses.
Oh, cool. And where are you from originally?
Alexandria, Virginia.
How many brothers and sisters?
I have an older brother and a younger sister.
All right, so you're the middle of three. And what kind of sports were you playing when you were a kid?
I played soccer.
Uh-huh. And what was your role on that team?
The goalie.
The goalie? Why'd you like playing goalie?
I love playing goalie. It was all about taking risk and being there for the team and taking one for the team.
Uh-huh. So you don't mind being like dead center in the middle of it all. What's that have to do with building this organization known as the CPA department?
It's everything to do with that. You're in the middle. You're on the line. There's a lot of risk. There's a lot of reward, and it's messy.
All right, Andrew.
Jennifer, who was your biggest influence growing up, would you say?
My grandfather.
And why is that?
My grandfather retired from the State Department. He had a small savings of $70,000, and he decided to begin investing, and he invited me to participate in that. We had monthly business meetings, and he taught me all about investing and business and how to understand business and maneuver in that world.
Wait a minute. So as a young woman, you decided to take time once a month to learn about investments. Did your grandfather, he didn't have a background in investing, correct? Was he self-taught?
That's right, he was.
And what impact did that have on you?
It was huge. He was my role model. He was very special to me, and he opened my eyes to many things I wouldn't have seen otherwise.
And it was one of those things, the challenge to learn something new and difficult?
To always keep learning, no matter how challenging that might be.
What's that have to do with running the CPA department?
We learn every day. We learn from our clients. We learn from new challenges and experiences we're facing. And we have to, on the fly, figure out a way to move forward through those.
What was the thing you most respected about your grandfather?
I think his humanity. He talked a lot about life and how to live a good life and how to be a good person.
So what's the secret to living a good life?
Do what you love, keep learning, care about your family, invest in people.
Are you doing that stuff now?
I certainly try every day.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? People are important. We look at our people, our clients, as what we're about. What we do is a byproduct, but it's the people and their peace of mind that comes first.
What comes first? What do you mean?
We have to understand who they are, what their challenges are, what their priorities are, and what's going to make them feel comfortable. And that might not always be the right choice for us or what we would necessarily advise a different person, but we need to meet the clients where they are.
So you're talking about really getting to know your clients. They're not just buying a pretzel from you. You're really getting to know these people. You really want to get to know them. You want to get them to know you. It's really about a deep relationship, isn't it?
Yeah, we don't know our clients if we don't know their spouses, their kids, if we don't understand what's happening in their lives.
Oh my gosh, you're running an old-fashioned kind of accounting firm.
In a modern world with modern technology.
Oh my gosh, and you learned this kind of stuff. This came through with your relationship with your grandfather.
The idea of people being important and the idea of learning and enjoying the business world came from him, yes.
Wow. Katie?
What did your mom and dad do for a living?
So my mom was a teacher and my father worked for the federal government in audit follow-up.
And what do you bring from each of them when you go to work?
You know, my mom was a stickler for being independent and taking care of yourself and respecting other people, living up to your word. And so those were strong values that I grew up with as a child. And my father was very much interested in making sure we held to our word, making sure that we took care of our business and we did it timely.
Living up to your word, that's not something... Well, both mom, you got that from both mom and dad. That's pretty deep in your core, isn't it?
Yes.
What is?
Yes. Being true to say what you're going to do and do what you said you were going to do. And being true to yourself and being true to your people.
You're really committed to that, aren't you?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Mark?
So other than soccer, what activities are you involved in growing up?
Oh, well, I enjoyed math league.
So were you good at math?
I was good at math.
Did you take lots of math classes because it was fun?
It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I looked forward to that class more than any other during the day.
You said you dragged your friends into the math league as well?
I did.
How did they feel about that? Did they enjoy it as much as you did, or did they do it because they wanted to be with you?
I like to think they enjoyed it just as much as I did, whether it was for the math or whether it was for the group of us.
You were showing your ability to recruit at an early age. I mean, isn't that what you're doing with the business in terms of building the team?
It is. It absolutely is.
Tell me more about that.
When I'm recruiting, whether for Math League or for our team, it's all about the experience, not just of what the job is, but the experience of the team together, as well as the opportunities to see different situations, to understand different clients, and to grow as human beings.
You're running an accounting firm, and you just told me it's to grow as human beings. Tell me more about that. What are you talking about here?
Well, accounting is what we do, but it's not who we are. We're all human, and we're serving humans. And so what we do is we look for ways to provide the service, but also peace of mind, and grow ourselves as individuals as well. We always want to be better tomorrow than we were yesterday.
Are you helping entrepreneurs and folks with their family planning in terms of college and death and weddings and bar mitzvahs and all that other kinds of stuff?
We talk about all of that. We serve businesses, but behind every business is a family.
You don't forget that. I mean, that's really important to you, isn't it?
It is.
Uh-huh. Well, so do you get clients and lose them?
Rarely.
Why?
They tend to stick around.
Why do they tend to stick around?
I think because we're building those relationships. You know, we find ourselves sometimes.
They really get your sincerity, don't you? They really get who you are and who the organization is.
That's our intention. I certainly hope so. That is the message I try to deliver.
Why don't you go sell out to a bigger accounting firm?
Why don't I sell to a bigger accounting firm?
Why don't you do that?
The culture would change.
I knew that was going to be the answer, because if people were sitting here and they could see your face and they could see how you were really engaged in this conversation, the point of the matter is you're all about the people, aren't you?
It is the people.
Stepping away from the firm right now, thinking back to when you were growing up, why were your friends your friends? What was it about you that they appreciated and valued?
Loyalty.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. I had a friend when I was young whose mother was going through cancer, and I remember just wanting to be with her. Not that I could do anything, but it was a matter of reassurance and making that connection, being connected to her.
Do you feel like in your firm right now in the CPA department there's loyalty among your staff and with you?
I do. My staff are fabulous with me, and I like to think that I provide that back.
And do you think your clients think you're loyal to them?
Absolutely, yes.
Why did you spend your time with your friend whose mom was going through those difficulties as opposed to going out and playing or having fun?
The connection is more important.
What do you mean?
That's the secret of life, right? Being connected and giving to other people, being there for them, and having the reward of their comfort.
Why do you have a smile on your face when you're telling me that?
Because that's what makes me happy.
What does?
Being connected to other people, serving them.
So you really enjoy the connection with your clients and your teammates, don't you?
I do.
Mm-hmm. Could you see doing anything else?
I could see providing just about any service. I could see myself doing anything, but not in a different way.
What do you mean?
The service is just what we do. Like I said, it's about being connected to the people.
So you really enjoy being in a service business as opposed to selling pretzels.
Absolutely.
As long as you're serving people, you really get joy out of serving people.
That's right.
And in entrepreneurs and families, do you meet with husbands and wives and help them go through family decisions and stuff like that?
Well, we do. We're talking about those major life moments. We're planning ahead for them, and retirement and exit strategies, merger and acquisition activities, and all of that impacts the entire family.
So you really enjoy those conversations. You really enjoy being in the middle of it all, just like you were, the goalie, weren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it, and connecting with the other folks who are important in that family's lives.
Mm-hmm. What's the website address of this organization?
CPADEPT.com.
Let me have that one more time.
CPADEPT.com.
We've been speaking with Jennifer Eubanks, CEO of CPA Department here on Executive Leaders Radio. And let's see, Katie, can you give us a rundown on who else we've had the opportunity of speaking with today?
Greg McCarthy, CEO of AOC Key Solutions, Jennifer Collins, CEO and President of JDC Events, Todd Henkle, owner of Lost Creek Winery, and Jennifer Eubanks, CEO of CPA Department.
Let's get a couple of website addresses in here. Greg, what is your website address?
AOCKeySolutions.com.
Come up real quick to that, please.
AOCKeysolutions.com.
Jennifer Collins, your website address?
jdc-events.com.
Todd Henkle, your website?
LostCreekWinery.com.
And Jennifer Eubanks?
CPADEPT.com.
I'd like to thank my co-hosts, Andrew Howard Insurance, Mark Haas, Association for Enterprise Growth, and Katie Brewer for giving me hand structure the questions. Hope you're providing our listening audience with an educational and entertaining show. I'd like to thank our listening audience for listening. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a radio show. Don't forget to visit our website. It's executiveleadersradio.com to learn more about our executive leaders. Thank you for joining us today, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.